Welcome into the latest edition of Extra Time. Thank you for your tweets. Craig with us here in the studio. Stevie, Nicol joins us, as does Jan. Jan, when we were recording, you had one eye on your son's match. What was going on?
Well, it's fitting that in extra time here, they won in extra time. So
very good. and who won? What was the occasion?
Greenock Morton in the relegation zone in Championship Scotland.
Wow.
So it was not a very good game, but still very exciting.
And is that it? They've survived now?
I hope so. That was the first hurdle.
Go on, Stevie.
That's a shock. It wasn't a very good game. Greenock Morton.
Have you been to Greenock, Jan?
I have.
Do you have a night out in Greenock?
But I got a couple of houses there, so no. David Hopkins was there as a manager. He brought my son in, and then he suddenly walked away. Unfortunately, because they had a very good connection. But yes, I've been there 2 Christmases in Scotland last 2 years.
Hoppy.
Greenock.
Edinburgh.
Greenock is famous in Scotland, Dan.
Yes.
Greenock is famous in Scotland for getting bombed during the Second World War.
Oh, lovely. That's a nice bit of fact. Thanks for that.
That tells you all you need to know.
And how emotional are you watching him, Jan? More or less than Haaland?
I'm a terrible watcher. When I played football myself, I was never nervous. Every kick of the ball, I'm nervous. Unfortunately, kills me off.
Right, let's get on with some questions, shall we? Stevie, with Liverpool Europa League bound, is injuries the only thing that kept Liverpool back, or was Klopp's tactics a big part of whatever that has happened this season?
No, I think it's pretty obvious that the injuries is what held them back. I don't think he's ever really changed his tactics that much. The problem is, when you spend, I think he spent 5 years, basically putting a culture together, putting a way of playing together, and then just from nowhere, somebody opens the hatch and everybody falls through. I mean, it's very difficult to then try and do what you had been doing. And then try and go a different route and play a completely different way. So, no, I don't think tactics had anything to do with it.
Stevie, would you rather Liverpool play in the Europa League or not be in Europe at all? Do you think participating in the Europa League is needed to keep the star players happy for a season?
Honestly, I would prefer they didn't play in Europe.
Yep.
I'm sure the owners would disagree because that means they wouldn't have any additional money coming in. I mean, you only have to look at what the likes of Chelsea did under Conte when they went in European football. You know, they played week to week, and they were up the top of the league from start to finish, pretty much. So that's what I would like to see happen. Unfortunately, I think they're going to end up certainly one of those Europa League competitions, which is not good.
Trust me. You know the final line there? It says
players.
The star players are not happy
that
they're in the
That's a Borussia.
Yeah, those away trips for the Thursday night and then back to play probably on the Sunday against opposition that are in the Europa League for a reason. No, sorry, it's not going to appease top players. They'll be knocking on the door saying, listen, I was about a rest.
Yep.
And I think that's probably what Klopp will do, ultimately. He'll probably play some sort of hybrid second string and try and keep his players fit for the Premier League.
Jan, where do you think Sancho will end up at the end of the summer, or even
Man United.
Euros? Manchester United, Liverpool, or someplace else? I want a prediction, please.
Yes, you will get a prediction. I talked a lot this week because we are preparing the cup final, the Pokalfinale on Thursday, and I talked to a lot of people in Dortmund. And the thing is that some around one club try to spin that Manchester United not interested in the player, and they certainly are. But Liverpool is also on. Remember, Klopp's connection with Dortmund is very close. Klopp and the CEO Watzke, very close friends and all that kind of thing. But Liverpool have been told, they've been telling them that to finance him, because he will still be expensive, not as expensive last season when they said 120 million, it would be around 90, 100, and we'll see is there anybody who can pay that. And Liverpool have been telling them that they have to sell either Mane or Salah. So that is the deal. And I think it's something to do with the last question, but we were talking about Liverpool, because I think that Klopp 1 year ago wanted to fresh up the squad, freshen up the starting 11, and he couldn't. So I think that he will be desperate to get some new faces in now, and Sancho would fit the bill the way he plays football.
Stevie, just say money wasn't an object. It was literally you could go to Manchester United, play in the Champions League, or go to Liverpool and play in the Europa League. Would that make a difference?
I think it depends on the reasons that you're going to a club. If you can look at Liverpool and say, right, well, European champions, Premier League champions, understand that the problem of ending up in the Europa League is just one of those things, the way the injuries happened, then I think you go to Liverpool. You know, Manchester United right now is still all about ifs and ands and maybes and and then can they take another step? Well, you're going to a side in Liverpool, if it's between Liverpool and United, where you know that they've been there, done it, with the same players that you're going to join. And so, if that's what you're all about, if it's all about the trophies and the professionalism, then you go to Liverpool. If it's about the history, then depending on him growing up, he could be swayed by Manchester United, because Manchester United is a huge club.
I think that, Dan, if I just may say that I think that a lot of these young players now at Dortmund, if that is Haaland or Sancho in this season or next season, they will see where is the chance to win trophies. Because these boys see Bayern Munich, they see Manchester City, they're winning trophies. So they will go where there is the biggest chance to win trophies, and that's what it's all about. I mean, the money would more or less be similar. The atmosphere and the history, as Steve was talking about, would be a bit about similar. So that depends which team you support. So I think trophies, a potential of winning trophies, which all will work.
Where would you go?
I go to Liverpool because, and I'll tell you why, a couple of reasons. One, they've already shown in the last 3 or 4 years that they can go toe-to-toe domestically and with the best in Europe when everybody's fit, and also their manager has a pedigree, proven pedigree that is, so as one of the best in the business, and so therefore I would be more confident in a bounce back from Liverpool, and so I would go to Liverpool thinking that they will be making an assault on the Premier League again next year. I don't think the Europa League is any sort of carrot whatsoever. That's just a sideshow in terms of signing players. The caveat is, you come in here, how do you sell it to them? You sell it as Liverpool Football Club, look at these great players, Van Dijk will be back, Gomez will be back, all these guys will be back, Thiago might have settled in, blah, blah, and we're going to make another assault in the Premier League, and then next year, another assault in European football. Now, that might all be pie in the sky, as Jan said, if he's desperate to freshen it up, it depends on the money. But I do think there is a chance, a bigger chance at Liverpool that may happen.
Stevie, what if you had to sell Mane or Salah to get Sancho?
That is a tough one. Listen, Mane's been last 5 months. He's been really poor. I think Salah has been okay, but he's still managed to score goals. So if you're kind of looking at it that way, then you go with Mane.
You get rid of Mane.
But I
if you've got a guy who's not his best and scoring goals against a guy who's not his best and isn't scoring goals, then
you can keep them both.
I think it's pretty
that's the other option,
straightforward.
Stevie. You can keep them both and not have Sancho.
Well, listen, if it was going to put the club in financial problems, then I would just keep the two of them.
Right.
You know, listen, everybody's gone through a period where they haven't played well. Every single one of us. It just so happens that the two of them, or the three of them, if you want to include Firmino, have been kind of doing it all at the same time. So I would have no hesitation in starting the Liverpool 11 that started this Premier League season. If they start next year fully fit, I'm confident Liverpool are going to be competing with City.
If I was Liverpool, if I was Liverpool and I had the money, and Sancho's a good player. He's played better this season as it's went on, but he's still got inconsistencies in his game. He's a young man. I think he's 21 now. But if I had the money and I wanted to really come back with a bang, I'd go and sign. Presuming you're not going to get Erling Haaland, right? I'd go and sign Harry Kane if I could.
Right.
Right. Stevie and I were talking about this the other day. In that Liverpool, and I know he's had his injuries, but even in an average Tottenham side, he still had another stellar season. Sure, right. He's not, him and Heung-min Son are a standout. But I'd go and sign him if I could, even though he's 27, 28, it's not finished, but it's not going to have much of a sell-on, if any, in 4 years' time. But if you get 4 years out of Harry Kane, I think he's getting 30 goals a season in that Liverpool team. He's just a natural finisher. Natural finisher. Win you a game from nowhere, balls in the box. Everything that Roberto Firmino can't give you, he can give you other stuff. Link-up play, work rate, you know, clever flicks and movements, but he's never, ever, ever going to give you the goals tally like Kane has given them, like Fowler gave them, like Ian Rush gave them. And you know, you might play a certain way, that's fine, but it all boils down to one thing. That's good defending and taking your chances. And I don't think it'll happen, don't get me wrong. I don't think they'll go after Kane, but I think he would be the difference, you know.
Craig, what area in the team would you recommend Manchester City and Pep to invest in, given that Diaz has improved the defence and they won so many matches without a striker this season?
I still think they'll go for a striker.
Harry Kane. He's at Liverpool now.
I don't know. I still think they'll go for a striker. You can't let Aguero go and have Jesus and nobody else. You can't. I wouldn't imagine he's going to play that way all the time. So I think he'll go for another striker.
Right.
Left back has been... Yeah, I mean,
Zinchenko's been all right.
Zinchenko's done okay. Yeah, I think if they do spend, it'll be on a front man.
Can it be said that Cristiano's time at Juventus, Jan, has been a failure as they've performed worse in the Champions League and are at the moment playing for the Europa League?
Yeah, for God's sake, let's not even start with them taking a junior manager as a coach. Let's talk all about Cristiano Ronaldo, should we? I mean, imagine there was another manager with Pirlo's record this season. We will be after him. I mean, whole Italy will be after him. But fair enough. Cristiano Ronaldo went to Juventus because he thought that he would win trophies there, would go for the Champions League this season. He still produces his goals, and we saw some reports today that if they don't get into Champions League and blah 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 blah, he will leave. But I think it's too easy to take it down to Cristiano Ronaldo. It's the same thing to say when he left Real Madrid. There were some pundits saying, "Well, Real Madrid will get better." Okay, you're getting better when you send 40 goals away. Okay, all the best. Auf Wiedersehen.
See, the problem is here is that when Ronaldo went to Juventus, he was probably promised all these changes and things that were going to happen from Agnelli, from the ownership.
Yes.
The same people that told UEFA, there's no Super League.
Yes.
We're not. So I'll let you read into what you think. He probably went there off the back of, we're going to do this, that, and the next thing, and it's just been the complete opposite.
Could the boys, Peter, that after this season, we'll see what it's ending in La Liga, that Zinedine Zidane will go to Juventus.
Which we discussed. Which I discussed with Mina Rizuki today.
But isn't the Pirlo... What has it been called in this show from others?
Transition.
It's a transitional period.
It's a
transition from trying to play a certain way to playing even worse.
Yes, to now playing the Europa League.
The
transition has not worked. It's been a massive
Liverpool, Juventus.
It's a bit of an Arsenal transition with Mikel Arteta, isn't it? It's a kind of Pep's mate transition. Here's Pep's mate transition.
Yeah, that worked well. Arsenal in action tomorrow, aren't they? Chelsea. We'll be back then to reflect on that game. Plus Juventus, speaking of Pirlo, away against Sassuolo in that big match for the Champions League. Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.